Sponsored by
कब्ज और उससे संबंधित तकलीफों का समाधान। बैद्यनाथ कब्ज आहार दे, कब्ज में आराम, प्राकृतिक और सुरक्षित।
External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar on Saturday displayed Bharat's foreign policy acumen, earning heaps of praise from leaders at the Munich Conference. The foreign minister, who is currently in Germany to attend the Munich Security Conference in a rare occurrence, had a brief meeting with his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi on Saturday. The interaction between the two leaders came after months of minimal contact between the two governments, as ties between them remained strained since the Galwan clashes in 2020. The brief meeting between Jaishankar and Yi took place when the former was headed to a panel discussion with US Secretary of State Antony Blinken, while Wang was dissenting from the stage. During the conversation, Jaishankar reportedly emphasized the need for an early resolution of the situation at the line of actual control. Meanwhile, highlighting Bharat's diplomacy, Jaishankar said, "If I'm smart enough to have multiple options, you should be admiring me." Sharing an instance, External Affairs Minister Jaishankar affirmed that Bharat has been buying Russian oil despite respective sanctions on Moscow by the US, while also maintaining growing bilateral ties with Washington. His witty and confident response turned all heads, garnering him applause and praise.
Is that a problem? Why should it be a problem? If I'm smart enough to have multiple options, you should be admiring me. You shouldn't be criticizing. Now,
on the sidelines of the Munich conference, Jaishankar held a brief meeting with leaders of various nations, including China and Canada, the countries with whom their ties are on a downward trajectory. Prior to Jaishankar's meeting with his Chinese counterpart, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping engaged in a brief conversation during the G20 Leaders Summit in Bali, Indonesia in November 2022. Additionally, External Affairs Minister Jaishankar met with his Canadian counterpart Melanie Joly on Saturday to discuss the present state of bilateral ties and exchange views on numerous global situations. The ties between the two countries faltered after Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau alleged that Bharat was behind the killing of separatist terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Earlier on Saturday, Jaishankar met his Palestinian counterpart Riyad al-Maliki and discussed the current situation in the war-torn Gaza. This happened after Jaishankar, during a panel discussion with US Secretary of State Antony J. Blinken and German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock, discussed the Israel-Hamas war, outlining the responsibilities for Israel. While maintaining his stance on Hamas terrorist attack, S. Jaishankar said that what happened on October 7 was terrorism and it requires no caveats, justifications or explanations. However, he added that Israel should have been very mindful of civilian casualties, as it has an obligation to observe international humanitarian law. This is the first time that Bharat pointed out that Israel holds responsibility amidst the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict. Till now, New Delhi, in its statements, had been calling for respecting international humanitarian law. Meanwhile, Jaishankar also reiterated the return of hostages and the building of humanitarian corridor to provide relief, because eventually there has to be a permanent fix, a long-term fix to avoid a recurrence, he stated.